You're listening to the Lawyer Lifestyle Podcast with Chicago attorney Dave Scriven-Young. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor, which is the app that I use to record and edit the Lawyer Lifestyle Podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast, so let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 227 of the Lawyer Lifestyle Podcast for June 13th, 2020. My name is Dave Scriven-Young, an attorney from Chicago, Illinois, and I'll be your host. This podcast takes you on a daily journey to discover key principles in areas of marketing, sales, and leadership for attorneys. So as I mentioned in the last episode, we're going to be shifting, if you will, from John C. Maxwell's leadership book to Gary Vaynerchuk's Crushing It. And the subtitle of the book is How Great Entrepreneurs Build Their Business and Influence, and how you can too. So what this book is really about is why and how you need to build your own personal brand. And Gary Vaynerchuk is somebody who certainly has built his brand, and really the book is about how you can use social media to build that personal brand. And why is Vaynerchuk the person that we should follow in this regard? Well, it's really simple. He basically used the internet to develop a personal brand and grew his family's, really his father's, $4 million family business, which was at the time called Shoppers Discount Liquors, into a $60 million business, which is now called Wine Library. And this is a store in New Jersey. The strategy was simple and both outrageous, as Vaynerchuk tells it. He basically put together Wine Library TV. And this was a show that he had on YouTube where he basically drank wine and gave honest reviews. And I've heard this story told many times where, Vaynerchuk talks about how when he originally thought of this show, Wine Library TV, he was going to sit down and basically it was going to be a QVC type show where he was going to just get on there and just sell the liquor. And then when that light came on the camera, something switched inside of him and he decided to go for a more quote-unquote honest approach. And I say quote-unquote because, I think most people, wouldn't believe Vaynerchuk if he said, I love these wines. I love this wine. I love that wine. So you should come down to my dad's store and buy it, right? No one would really believe that. But if he sat down and gave his honest review and, he, looked at a bottle of wine that was being sold at the store and he said it was terrible, then people would see that this guy was really authentic and somebody who you could really see as an authority in the wine space. And so he basically grew his father's business, as I said, to a $60 million business from $4 million using social media, but also, Google AdWords. He also did a lot of other things, including, billboards and newspapers and the like. But now he basically has transformed himself from a wine expert, although he still sort of keeps that on the side. But now he is a business entrepreneur and social media expert. And he basically does that through a massive digital marketing agency that he runs called VaynerMedia with offices in New York, Los Angeles, Chattanooga, and London. And he does a lot of other things, including, obviously he still uses social media for various shows. He had a show called Ask Gary V, which essentially was some people calling in, and I think it started first with Twitter comments, and then it turned into a call-in show, and then an interview show. There's been various iterations. But he's the person who has grown his personal network and has grown business. So the question I know you're asking yourself is, why do I care as a lawyer? Well, especially if you're somebody who is at a law firm, somebody who is basically beholden to the advertising of a big law firm. So if you work at one of the national firms or even a mid-sized firm like I do, you are beholden to what the marketing marketing team wants to do. And if you're a young attorney or you're not a partner, or even if you are a partner, there is, unless you are, one of the, leaders of the firm, if you're a managing partner or you're in one of the offices that, is really driving the firm, then you are not getting, you may be getting some support, but you're really not getting the full extent of the marketing of the firm, right? And not a lot of large firms do advertising. They may sponsor a conference, but does that really do a lot for you personally? May or may not, and I'm sure marketing people at firms would tell me otherwise. But what I can tell you, as just speaking for myself, obviously, it doesn't. What that person or team is doing does not translate to direct business for myself. And so it's incumbent upon me to go out and build my business. And building a personal brand is one way that you can do that. So as Gary Vaynerchuk did, he tells a story, and I have no reason to doubt him, but he was just an employee at Shoppers Discount Liquors. He didn't have any equity in his father's business, but he wanted to help his father succeed. And so he basically took over not the business, but the marketing of the business and grew it for his father. And then, and now his dad owns this wonderful company, and Vaynerchuk came out with, zero, except for, of course, the, full love and support of his father, right? And so we, I think, can do the same thing. But if you build a personal brand, you're able to build your own book of business. And you're able to also have portable business, so you're going to be in the driver's seat. You're going to be the one who people are going to come to in terms of wanting to give you business. You're going to be the person who has the notoriety either in the media or even online that you're going to be a rainmaker one day. Now, this is again, and this is true with everything that I've been talking about, for 26 episodes now. This is not going to be an overnight thing. I saw something, Grant Cardone said the other day on his Instagram page that, if overnight success is a thing, I must be, essentially a real loser because it took me 40 years to be an overnight success. Same thing with Vaynerchuk. He started out just in his, father's liquor store, and it took a while for his YouTube channel to get traction. So this is not going to be an overnight thing. This is going to take a long time, and we're going to go. The great thing about having a daily podcast is that I'm going to be able to teach these principles to you, and at the same time I'm going to be modifying what I do and telling you about it. And I hope that you will tell me the same. Now, the one thing that I will say is I think personal brands are getting they don't have a great reputation at the moment because you hear about Instagram influencers and TikTok influencers, kids who are making thousands of dollars because they're wearing a shoe brand on their channel, and their brats and all the stuff that you hear. I'm not telling you that I expect you, and I certainly don't expect me to become an Instagram influencer. But what can I tell you? I can tell you, following Gary Vaynerchuk over, I don't know, 10 years now, that this actually works. It has worked for him. And I can tell you that because I've actually tried to refer business to him. When one of the large lawyer organizations that I'm affiliated with was sort of going through a branding change, I actually reached out to VaynerMedia to see if they could, bid on the work. Now it didn't end up working out, but I found it very interesting to do that because and I felt compelled to do it because I really felt that VaynerMedia was the best agency to bring this organization into the new century, right? Into this new media landscape, and that it's not something that this organization or many lawyers are really taking into play. They think that if I'm on LinkedIn, then if I have a profile on LinkedIn, then I'm good. There's so many other things that could help, and building a personal brand is what we're going to be doing. And so I'm not suggesting that we all become Instagram influencers, but what I can tell you is that it works. I've seen it work. And the best thing about it is that we all have the tools to create a powerful brand that can actually change our future to help us build our business, to build our book of business. And that is because, we all have computers. All of us have phones. Social media is absolutely free. You don't have to pay for Facebook. You don't have to pay for Twitter. You don't have to pay for Instagram. You don't have to pay for any of this, right? And so what we're all going to do is we're going to work together on this, and we're going to each individually build our personal brands. And so what I want you to do for your daily action item, I want you to think about, whether you believe that building a personal brand is going to help you to build your book of business, to help you build portable business, so you're able to become a rainmaker in your firm. Because I know personally, right? I know personally that I've made the mistake in the past at previous firms is I didn't do this. I relied on, the old school mentality where if I joined the ABA in my local bar association, if I wrote articles in publications, then that would save me because that would help me to get business. It's just not enough. Okay, it's not enough to do that because with the economy the way that it is and has been, we have to take some massive action, some real actions to do the best job that we can to build our own personal business, to build our own personal brand. So no one can come and say, look, you're not doing enough to bring a business. You're not doing anything. Even though you feel like you're doing a lot, you're not producing the results that the firm needs. And so, in order to keep our position stable, to keep ourselves busy, to build our business, we're going to build our personal brands. So I invite you to join in the discussion all along the way here. You can leave me a voicemail by going to anchor.fm/attorneydsy and hitting that message button. You can leave me a comment for me to play on the show or a question for me to answer. You can also leave me a comment or question on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at attorneydsy. I'm also on LinkedIn. So let me know if you have any comments about this episode. Tell me what you think about this podcast, or give me a topic you would like to hear about. This podcast is on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, TuneIn, and Anchor, so please be sure to subscribe and rate and review. I also want to invite you to the next session of the Lawyer's Emotional Intelligence Book Club, continuing with Dr. Chatterjee's book, The Stress Solution. The next session will be Wednesday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Central. You can find out more at facebook.com/lawyersEQ. Have a great day or night, and remember to fight for the lifestyle that you want and become the rainmaker that you need to be.